a battle with yourself on the floor. When the man with the power and the dollar says you ain't worth a cent, and your wings won't fly and your words won't flow. You can't force a smile and they won't leave you alone. I see the light in you, let it shine again. 'Cause you were born for the fire, raised by the storm, braver together, loud and fun. Heart full of country, soul full of grit. We don't run, we rise, and we don't quit. Oh, we don't run, we rise, and we don't quit. I know a woman with a lion's heart and a pretty blue dress with a shopping cart. Head full of dreams, gonna change the world. Got a body of work they say won't sell, and a way with words that she won't tell. I see the light in you, let it shine again. 'Cause you were born for the fire, raised by the storm, braver together, loud and fun. Heart full of country, soul full of grit. We don't run, we rise, and we don't quit. Oh, we don't run, we rise, and we don't quit. We don't.
Don't ever give your bestie your phone right before and go.
Good morning, Patriot family. Thank you so much for joining Out of Pocket this morning with Allie and Michelle.
It is-
Oh,
So
oh my.
we just gonna start with that.
Bro, that was pretty funny. This is so out of pocket. I can't. I don't even know if y'all can see this,
I don't
but it's
know.
hilarious. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's guess what happens when you scroll and you can't.
She's squeaking. She is squeaking. Don't adjust the sound on your set. That is
And this is what happens when you scroll right before you go live, because I'm trying to find like current news, and I just scroll past this photo of Harry Potter in a do-rag, and it's I can't.
Harry Potter. Go ahead.
Harry Potter in
In
a
a
do-rag,
do-rag.
and it says, "Shawty want me in her chamber of secrets, so I slither in." Like what?
And cut. That's funny.
Pocket timeout.
I mean-
Starting over. Flag on the play.
What
What
on the play?
is going on?
Loss of downs. Here we go. Wow. Welcome to Out of Pocket Live. I mean, you just never know what you're gonna get. Never know what you're gonna get. Lord, Allie, give me. What is she drinking? Zach, I'm gonna monitor this on the set. Give me.
It's B12. It's vitamins. It's
It's
B12 and like collagen and apparently some
Apparently,
Harry Potter.
some Harry Potter. Some Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Potter.
Anyway,
We will get back on track. So sorry, Zach. So today we've got so much to talk about. We're going to spend the first part of our show, Allie, really dialing into things that are not making headlines. And I always wonder why these things don't rise above the par to be able to be on regular lamestream media. Talking about a Mississippi state of emergency.
Say what?
Did you even know
no,
there is a state of emergency?
had no
and
idea.
How it's dialed back to what we believe is vaccine injury. The American Academy of Pediatrics is under a lawsuit now with RICO charges. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Children's Health Defense, for that. And maybe finally an end to ripping off taxpayers.
Oh, thank goodness.
I
I know we're
mean-
doing it here in Florida. Why not make it national? All right, you guys, let's open that mic and get out of pocket.
Two queens, no filter, say what they feel. Allie and Michelle keep it way too real. Politics, family, yeah, we go there. If it's out of line, we don't care. It's out of pocket. It's out of pocket.
I gotta be careful here. I am in white.
You're in white,
like,
ma'am.
like I'm getting married or baptized. I don't know, but I cannot spill. today. What?
It's Olivia Pope.
Olivia Pope. Try me.
Tulsi.
Welcome to our humble abode. We're so grateful to Talk Red and to all of our supporters for giving us this platform. Guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. And we hope to catch you here every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Allie, I want to start with the big news really coming out of the Health Maha movement.
Woo!
Yeah, it looks like the American Academy of Pediatrics is being hit with a lawsuit.
What?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and roll it. We'll talk about it.
The American Academy of Pediatrics is actually being sued for operating a decades-long racketeering scheme. They're facing a racketeering influence corrupt organizations RICO lawsuit filed by Children's Health Defense, who have accused them of literally just claiming injecting 72 doses into children is safe, despite the fact that they have zero data to support those claims. And so they're making up data while at the same time they receive large sums of money from Merck, Pfizer, et cetera, to promote those claims. And so they're actively taking in money, issuing false claims, and it's very dangerous for America's health. So they have to be exposed for their major conflicts of interest, and we got to fight back. We got to fight back for the health of our children, and we got to do those vaccinated versus unvaccinated studies. They're absolutely critical. Every single one that has been done so far, there's been 13 of them. They've all found the same thing. The vaccinated are far sicker across all categories.
Yes, Allie. So one of the things I want to mention with this is that what he's talking about there with studies of the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated is that we now have live people that can be studied based on a reflective study. It goes back through, if you take these hospitals and these clinics and you just take the people that they're treating and you go back and you look at who's made the choice to be vaccinated versus who hasn't. You don't have to have double-blind placebo. It's real live testing. But they don't want to know what it says. Now, RICO charges Racketeering, Influenced, and Corruption Organization Act. It's a serious federal law designed to prosecute individuals or organizations, American Pediatrics, involved in ongoing coordinated criminal enterprise. So trying to come out and say that we know that the 72 injections that they want to mandate on your children is somehow safe and effective. You can't even get to the effective because you can't prove the safe. They have no double-blind placebo testing for this. So pretty interesting. Yeah.
So this is how it works. It says to secure a RICO conviction, prosecutors must establish 3 core elements: the enterprise, a formalized or informal group of individuals associated
American
in
Pediatrics.
fact, right? So
Yeah.
a street gang or corrupt business. The pattern of racketeering, which is the second thing. The accused must have committed at least 2 predicate crimes within 10-year period. Then you have to build the connection. The crimes must be directly connected to the ongoing operations of the enterprise. So the common predicate crimes for a RICO charge to apply, the underlying crimes must fall under a specific list of over 100 federal and state offenses, which include murder, kidnapping, arson, extortion, drug distribution, money laundering, bribery, and witness tampering, just to name a few.
And you have to think, Allie, the American Academy of Pediatrics, think of the way they have pimped out all 72 vaccines that they're trying to cram down into your child under the age of 2. You have to understand this is, well, you do understand, but that you can't tell me that there hasn't been some level of this kind of criminal activity ongoing. Forget the fact that they're not giving you true informed consent because you really don't know what's in a lot of these injections. They haven't been tested. How is this not a violation of Nuremberg Code? I mean,
I'm sure it is.
People think we're extreme by saying that, but we're really not.
No, we're not. And then so penalties and consequences. So because RICO cases target the structural leadership of criminal rings, they carry heavy penalties. 3 of them are listed here. And it says prison time. Convictions carry a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison per racketeering count. Though it can result in life imprisonment depending on the predicate crimes, right? And so there's asset fortitude, which these pharmaceutical companies are billionaires. They're billionaires, multi-billionaires, trillionaires even. So individuals convicted must forfeit all proceeds derived from the racketeering activities, including businesses, money, and property, and civil liability. In addition, a criminal charge. In addition to criminal charges, individuals injured by a RICO enterprise can file private civil lawsuits to recover,
There you go.
cripple the financial damages they suffered. Guys, this might be the end of the pharmaceutical cartel as we know it. And it might, if that does happen, we will see a resurgence of natural medicine take place.
Homeopathic, absolutely.
Homeopathic medicine, Chinese medicine that we've gotten that has worked for decades, eons, right?
Mhm.
Since it's been around, which is natural medicine, right? We're going to see a resurgence of that.
Well, Allie, when you
Chiropractic care.
when
things-
you when
things
you
of
think
that
about the
nature.
larger, as you talked about the big pharma cartel, and the pharmaceutical industry that is making money off of this, they're giving money allegedly in this lawsuit to the American Academy of Pediatrics, a private organization.
Mhm,
That organization is then incentivizing pediatricians
mhm.
to pimp these vaccines on your
Right.
children and incentivizing them. So how is this any different than racketeering? I'm
I'm so
very
glad
interested.
that they have finally put the pieces together to go, oh, well, this makes sense. Do you see what happens when you finally you do something a little different and you vote for someone that's a little bit out of
It's got a little
pocket?
bit of a spine.
Right. This is all because of Bobby Kennedy.
Thank you.
Bobby Kennedy and doctors that have followed him, that have
Tree, other
spoken
yeah.
out against this since the 1986 Act, where they've
Yeah.
given the pharmaceutical industry blanket liability from
Sorry, Reagan, we don't like it.
from liability. And it is, I'm so glad that this is happening
Well, and I'm glad that
for such a time as this.
and we need to keep them in your prayers because it does not. It
Oh, it's
takes a
gonna get-
lot of yes, and it takes a lot of money to sue the big industries like this.
Mm.
But this is why we opened the show with this, guys, because I want to make sure you understand there is a study coming out of Louisiana now that shockingly is making a correlation to infant death spikes. Now, I want you to think about something. If we took infants under the age of 1, or as they did 18 months, and we look at the number of infants that were born versus the number that passed away
Mhm.
in those first 18 months, what percentage would you think would be normal, or like a normal I mean, when I think about this, I'm
Like
like,
less than 1%.
right. What if I told you it's near like a 10%? Take a look.
What?
Take a listen. It's crazy. Take a listen.
But a recent paper just came out. They found that infants, 2-month-old infants, if they got all 6 of the CDC recommended vaccines compared to the unvaccinated, they suffered about a 68% increased odds of dying in the following month compared to the unvaccinated. So this is very serious. We have to start talking about it and replicating this in other states.
Oh my God.
Girls are hit the hardest, it says, facing a staggering 112% higher odds of death in the month following their vaccine. This isn't healthcare.
This is eugenics.
Thank you.
If they can't get you to kill your baby in the womb, they're going to get you to do it by following CDC recommended guidelines.
They're going to guilt you into it.
And if
guilt
they
you.
can't, and if that doesn't happen, then they're going to tell you that they're born in the wrong body
And pump them full of other drugs, creating lifelong patients who will never fully be healed.
who have a like 90% rate, 90% increase of self-harm and unaliving themselves.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that this is not manufactured in multiple ways.
This specific
This is so
study that he's talking about in Louisiana. And again, we don't have to go into the lab. We can just look in a reflective
Right.
study
Right.
at what's currently taking place as it's taking place. It says that records reveal infants vaccinated at 2 months are 68% more likely to die in the following month than unvaccinated infants. It's the Louisiana study. Louisiana Department of Health. Okay, so we're not even saying like it's the Children's Health Defense. It's Louisiana Department of Health.
Right. And so I think this is why Florida has decided to mandate that when a child dies or
Yes.
anyone dies, that the vaccination records are a part of the coroner's report, because we have Surgeon General Dr. Latipo,
Yes.
who works closely with
The DeSantis.
Secretary Kennedy
Yes. Yes.
and Maha, and he is very well versed on, with a lot of the other doctors that he has in his circle, with what these studies are and how this is
Well,
affecting children.
and his own children have been have been victims of this. So you piss off
Wow.
a parent, see what happens. Go ahead,
Wow.
keep it up. So
Wow.
not to move too quickly, but I really want to pause at this next story because I want you to think about it, guys. Be honest. Are you hearing this next report anywhere else? Now, when we had state of emergencies with masks and all these things, CNN had a ticker at the bottom of the screen showing the death rates or whatever it was.
They're not doing this with this.
When and where are you actually hearing this next story, which is coming out of Mississippi? CDC data shows babies who are born now are at an increased 50% excess death rate after an mRNA vaccination in young women. Mississippi has declared a public health emergency over this. Take a look.
Babies born after this mRNA injection campaign are dying at a 77% excess rate. So this is a persistent issue now. We are seeing it appears a transgenerational problem thanks to these mRNA shots. And we know by multiple studies just how harmful it is to a pregnant woman, right? It's absolutely terrible. And yeah, look at that graph right there. That's what shows the 77% increase in mortality at that inflection point you see at the bottom on week 14, 2021. That's when the uptake began in childbearing age women, and it just hasn't stopped since. And we know now that the mRNA shots, now in multiple studies, do cross the placenta in women who are pregnant, right? So this mRNA does travel to the baby, reaches the baby's circulation, and then the baby starts to produce spike protein. And this has so many untold consequences. It's absolutely unthinkable that any leading pediatric organization would think this is a good idea to have little babies producing toxic non-human proteins.
They said it. This was safe and effective for expectant mothers. They said it. They couldn't provide you proof. They couldn't provide you with studies. They couldn't even provide you with the ingredients, but they told you this was something you had to do. And now we're seeing basically, as you said, eugenics, but a post birth abortion. This is what's happening. They're killing babies now because of what moms were told to inject themselves with, or worse yet, what they're telling you to inject your young baby with. It says here, Allie, that that they recently declared a state of health emergency over soaring infant deaths, now linked to transgenerational mRNA vaccines. 30-year decline in infant mortality completely reversed. So for 30 years, we did it in healthcare. We declined the infant mortality. Now it's been reversed immediately following these mRNA injections. It says excess infant death causes mirror those observed in vaccinated adults, suggesting transfer of mRNA vaccine genetic material to offspring.
They're trying to implement the mRNA into every vaccine now. They're trying to vaccinate the animals for food. They're trying to get it into our vegetables. How they're doing it,
water
right?
supply,
They're trying to get it into your water supply,
spraying it.
Guys, our birth rate is at a staggering, I think it's less than 2%. I think it's
Yes.
at like 1.3.
Yeah. People are becoming more sterile. They are by telling boys they're girls and girls they're boys. You're doing away with procreating. By it being expensive to have families, many people are choosing not to. And here's the thing, Allie, not that it matters financially. Not that I'm asking this to be about tax dollars, but all of you out there crying and screaming about where all the enrollment is in your public schools. What do you think this is going to look like in 10 years?
There won't
Where
be
are the
any.
students that are going to be in your public schools?
There won't be any.
You want to talk about the body bags piling up? And you know why this pisses me off more than anything is, think about it, parents. When you lose a child, especially after you realize it's been because of an injection that you put in them, this is the thing they shame parents with. And then we don't talk about it.
Yep.
This is why it hasn't been national news and on every headline, because they hope it's something like mental health that
Yep.
we don't talk about. It's the quiet thing that we hide under the rug, and we guilt parents into not talking about it. And that's how it continues.
I know how I felt when I realized that the reason why
Oh,
my
yes.
son was nonverbal until he was almost 4 was because, I mean, he was verbal, but you couldn't understand anything he was saying.
Yes.
And it was difficult because we had to translate for my 3-year-old. It was insanity. And then he was staring at like the ceiling fan and watching it spin, and he would flip bowls, and then you'd call him and he wouldn't hear you, and the light in his eyes faded, and you'd call him and he wouldn't listen. He couldn't face you. But before the vaccination, he was all there. And when you finally do the research and you see that, you have this insane guilt because you're like, I knew there was something wrong. I knew I shouldn't have done that many. You feel it.
You do.
And you guilt yourself. You're like, and then why did I turn around and do it with the other one? And I knew. And then I was like, you know what? Never again. I'm never participating ever again. And when COVID came around, I was like, absolutely not. Nobody knows what mRNA is doing.
Yes.
They're trying to shove it down everybody's throat. They're mandating, and then they're trying to give you incentives like French fries.
Tacos. I mean, there's not much. I'd do a lot for tacos,
Bro.
but I'm just saying, not that. And Allie, this is what they do. They gaslight parents. They gaslight you into thinking that they're the subject matter expert. You're just mom, or you're just dad. And of course, we all want to be the best mom and dad we can be. So you listen to the experts. And this is why it's so upsetting when people like you and I make correlations to what happened in COVID to what happened in Nazi Germany. We're not trying to downplay what happened in Nazi Germany, but everybody out there has been scratching their temple, realizing, how did an entire generation of people look the other way while people were boarded up in boxcars and taken to gas chambers? You want to know how? Because you told people that it was their responsibility. Look the other way. Everybody do this. Get lockstep. And the ones that didn't are people that you think are extinguishable.
You don't need a gas chamber when they're injecting it in your arm.
And when you're standing in line for it. And when you'll turn in your neighbor for it.
This is multi-tiered.
Yeah.
The eugenics is multi-tiered. It's financial, crippling. It's cultural coercion, right? It's medical malpractice and coercion.
Yes.
It is multi-tiered.
Yes.
And when you have a president who is trying to put more money into building families with IVF and putting money towards that, so that people who are struggling with having babies can have babies, so that we can boost those that are here in America. It's almost like they're trying to replace Americans. Which is why they had an open border. Do you see how all of this is being threaded through the needle? Are you paying attention to how this all works cohesively together to get rid of the Americans that have built this country, that understand what sovereignty and freedom looks like, because they've come from oppressed neighboring countries and have come to America to eat, breathe, and live what sovereignty looks like and feels like?
Yes, absolutely, Ellie. You know, when you stop and think of the first ones that they lined up to take this injection, they threatened your livelihood, they threatened your business, they threatened your jobs, they threatened your education. They lined up our military, they lined up our first responders, they lined up our children and parents. All the while, as the southern border was wide open, they were not mandating it for the illegal migrants coming to this country, that then we're given handouts of your tax dollars that we pretend we can't give to our own veterans. I believe this was orchestrated to be an internal takeover of what we know as the sovereign United States of America.
Two things. One, I want to know the connection with Bill Gates and Soros, and how much money they're putting into this, because I think that they are part of a big part of this, right? And they need to be held to account for what they're doing across the world, because they push this They put, and Fauci as well. Fauci needs to be held at a tribunal.
Listen,
And this needs to come to accountability. I am not joking. I'm 1,000% serious. My second point.
yes.
I hope all of you are listening, because listen, none of this was on the radar of our legislators. None of it. None of them stood out.
Amen.
None of them stood up for our veterans or our military members. None of them stood up for our first responders. None of them stood up for
Our
our
students.
police force. None of them stood up for our police force until moms showed up. And now they all want to run for Congress, talking about all the things that they've done. Now they want to run for state house or state senate or school board or county commission, when all of you stood completely silent and told our moms, you don't know what you're talking about.
You know, what
We need
good,
to trust the experts.
what good does your law degree or your medical degree or your associate's degree or your master's degree or your doctorate, what good does that do when you're elected to leadership if you fail to lead? Leaders take a leadership position. They see the trends and they act before it's politically convenient.
They
Moms
definitely-
do it on a daily. Dads, you do it on a daily. Grandparents, you know. Come on, how many times have you guys saw a shrinking budget in your own household economy? And what do? You make cuts. You don't get to go print more money. So
Yep.
don't pretend like these people that you elect to positions somehow have unknowingly more answers than you do. Stand up, run for office, get elected. Help those who think like you get elected. You don't need a special elite class to govern you. We need to be of buy-in for the people. This is what it means.
And these representatives definitely don't vote against it. If you are a leader, you don't vote against the stuff like this.
No.
Okay. And you definitely don't take time off. You continue to work.
Yes.
And you continue to push forward.
You continue to hustle.
Yep.
That's why some of our best leaders end up being people that were former military, because when are you going to take a sick day when you're in the military and you're serving? I mean, you don't get it. It's not an option. So again, Mississippi State Health Department declares a health emergency, a public health emergency. You can look this up on the AP. You can look this up through Google. Everything is factual that they are saying as far as there being a public health emergency, and these stats that are straight from the CDC, but nobody's covering it. You heard it here on Out of Pocket Live.
Don't you know why?
Because we're mamas. Because try me.
Wow.
And we're not funded by any big pharma.
Oh, but Lord, wait, if we're funded by big weed. Holy cow. Grab your pearls. Or psychedelics, right? That actually there are studies that psychedelics are helping with PTSD, and those that have been traumatized. But no.
No. Allie, there's another story that I want to make sure we cover here, and that is something I know that's near and dear to your heart. It's the MMR debate, because again, this doesn't just stop with Mississippi, Louisiana. They're finding this trend nationally. CDC data shows hundreds of sudden deaths among infants and toddlers within days of the MMR vaccine. Let's take a listen to the story.
Official CDC FDA data. We looked at it. And when the vaccines kill or are linked to 2,600% more deaths than measles infection for the past 30 years, that is a serious debacle, serious disaster, absolutely foolish. The vaccine should never kill more than the infection, never, especially 2,600% more. And remember, VAERS is underreported, so we could multiply that by about 30. We might get up to 80,000% more deaths with these vaccines than measles infection. There was only 7 measles deaths in the past 30 years. And so it's not looking good for that. We found these children died of sudden cardiac arrest, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, encephalitis, seizures, and 25% were hospitalized. Over half died within 2 weeks, and over half of them died within ages 1 to 1.5, right when they get these shots. And so it's very damning information.
Escuchándome. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me. Would you purchase a vehicle with these numbers?
Would any product be on the market with these numbers?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Think of car seats. Think of any item that you buy for your child.
Or
that
for yourself.
that goes through some type of testing, car seats, high chairs. I'm only going through this because I know what my daughter's expecting. Like literally, there are safety tests that are done for things that you're going to put your child in post-birth, but not what you're going to inject into them. And this is the CDC data itself. What makes this so asinine is that people will say we are somehow anti-vaxxers and that we're gonna contribute to this spike in measles. Look at the death rate for people before we had this measles injection. Look at the death rate, and now look at those that are dying from using the product. At some point, if we honestly let doctors and physicians and nurses be the medical professionals that they are, how do you not come to the conclusion that this is asinine when the solution kills more people than, like, it's just like all of those ads that you hear, do you have breakouts or rashes on your behind? Here, take this cream. It might cause you to go blind, pee yourself, and you might die under the age of 30, but the rash on your behind will be gone. Like, we accept this as medicine now. That's crazy.
You're mad at politicians who are taking financial contributions to their campaigns related to whatever issue it is that you have an issue with, but not this.
Aggravating.
But not this. And your tax dollars go to this. Tax dollars don't go to funding campaigns, political campaigns. Tax dollars go to this.
Here's the ask from
Wow.
Charles. Here's the ask to anybody out there who's scratching their head right now listening to this. Here's the ask. Before you tell the American people to inject something into their body, and before you lie to me and tell me it's safe and effective, I want a double-blind placebo test proving it's safe. I'll gamble on the effectiveness. You prove that it's safe. And until you do that, you are actually, I love this RICO
Yes.
this RICO charge pending for the American Academy of Pediatrics, because until that, you've not truly given us consent. Give me some tea to throw in the harbor, because I did not advocate for us. I did not accept having to get that forced down my throat as a new mom back in the day, when in all reality, it's never been proven safe. And if you can't prove that it's safe, it shouldn't be on the market. And I mean that for those of you that want to take every shot that they pimp out to you. Hey, great. Let's just first make sure that it's safe. And you can't prove that.
Nope.
I'm mad. Allie's mad.
I not often am I speechless.
You're welcome. But tell me again in the comments. I dare you to drop a link in the comments of where you're seeing this reported right now.
Nowhere.
Lindell TV, thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's about it. I haven't even seen it.
Because it gets thwarted and throttled on pages. Like, I had to find one and then search.
Silencing.
And then search and
So
search.
we're doing this again. Silencing. This is what we're doing. The same as COVID. So
Who does really good research,
Ugh.
Allie?
a concerned mother or woman. I'm just
The FBI ain't got nothing on a woman.
I'm just saying. Come for me, bro.
Guys, we have a lot more pending in this hour.
Like,
We're gonna
wow, sis. I'm like still. I mean,
well, another story you only heard here was the Ebola smuggling. Thank you to Laura Loomer. We're going to touch on that. Plus, we'll take this medical journey into what detransitioners are doing now. Yes, there's a whole movement now to detransition. Plus, we'll get into some out-of-pocket moments with Judge Janine, now U.S. Attorney Janine.
okay, all right.
We'll be right back after this message from Liberty Cigars.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Yes.
There's 3 letters I'm growing really tired of hearing.
What?
NIH.
Mm.
Now, I love Secretary Kennedy, but if you go back before Kennedy's time,
Girl, tell me about it.
Laura
I've been on this journey since 2015, girl. I am off. I'm tired of it.
well,
I'm done.
independent journalist and complete mama bear. I mean, I don't know if she's got kids, but you don't have to have kids to be a mama bear these days. But Laura Loomer said this on her podcast. We picked it up and helped amplify it, but you haven't heard it anywhere else. There was a Congo Ebola outbreak. Hey, remember that movie Outbreak? How exciting is that to think about that happening? But there's an NIH virologist who Laura Loomer named Vincent Munster. Is that really his last name, Munster?
Yep.
Is this why we got the Munsters?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, Lord. It was busted at a U.S. airport smuggling deadly pathogens back to this country from Congo. Take a listen.
There may be a possibility he could have had Ebola samples with him. What's going on with this story, Nicholas?
Yeah, this is another shocking story. So an NIH virologist, an Ebola expert, he literally goes in the Congo often. He has field sites in the Congo to catch Ebola from wild animals. And so he was caught at a U.S. airport earlier this year with undeclared biological samples, what are called select agents that appear to be, we know for sure, monkeypox, but as well, there could be other pathogens. There could be Ebola because we know he works with Ebola. He was caught at the airport. Now he's under administrative leave. The FBI is reportedly investigating him. And this man, Vincent Munster, was linked or actually was actively involved in gain-of-function activities with SARS-CoV-2, with Fauci and colleagues. And so you can't even make this up.
Porque why?
Why are you playing with monkeys in Ebola? Like, why? Like, there's not a job in this country you can do?
That it probably is his job. And I wonder who's funding it. Are the taxpayers funding it? Is it privately funded? Now we know that if it is privately funded, that we won't have access to what that funding looks like or where it's coming from, because those records are sealed the same way as a lot of the UAP stuff that has been coming out. If it's done under private sector, you don't have access to it. They're not privy to FOIA requests like normal. So it's just this is very concerning when you have someone that is working for a governmental agency and that is being privately funded. Like where do those lines get crossed? You know what I mean?
And so I think maybe preemptively, if we're not able to do it at the federal level, thank you, Senator Thune, then maybe at the state level, maybe we just have to start going out and banning gain of function research. Because think about something. Why would you take something that's already really potentially dangerous and put human beings who are faulty and flawed, put them in contact with it to try to make it more deadly?
So that you can profit off of it, because that's really what that is. It is Frankenstein. I was literally just thinking about that. It's Frankenstein and
Fauci.
And this is why we call him that. He is public enemy number one for the American people. And I do believe that there needs to be some kind of accountability here. I don't think that he just needs to be on leave. I think he is under investigation for being, so on leave is fine. But this is just insane. This gain of function research should not be done, because then this with the mRNA and gain of function, you're marrying the two together, and we've already seen what that looks like with the infant deaths,
and this is how you know,
and the adult deaths.
Yes, this is how you know that it's an industry, because the only reason to make something more deadly, more infectious, more potent is if you can honestly try to make money on the other side by telling people you hold the antigen, creating the virus, making money off the antigen, and possibly also killing people off the antigen, just not telling them that because you own the media and you can propagate BS through the media and make people feel like they have to stand in line for the very thing that's going to cause their mortality rate to skyrocket. This is crazy. It's not healthcare when you operate it like that. This is why we call for people to be held accountable. It's why we paint the picture of what happened in Nazi Germany. It's not to diminish what happened in Nazi Germany. It's to scream from the rooftops. It's just being done differently. Same idea, done differently.
Yep, different tools.
You're welcome. Well, I just want to make sure we give a shout out to Laura Loomer because again, nobody else has picked up her story on this other than Lindell TV. And her,
Goodness gracious.
very crazy. So, in this world of telling boys they're girls, girls they're boys, and chopping off healthy body parts in the name of medicine, again, because you're just
Which is
creating
medicine.
lifetime clients that need your help. There's now big wins, Allie, for detransitioners. Take
Thank
a look at
goodness.
this. Yeah. This is coming out of Gays Against Grooming, which is a great organization that maybe we don't always agree on everything, but they understand that, you know, what the war we've committed against young people, youngsters and their parents. Gays Against Groomers really fights against that. This is a detransitioner given double mastectomy. So this is somebody that was under the age of 18. Double mastectomy has been awarded $3.5 million after the lawsuit was. Yeah, it says Camille was allegedly approved by those therapists for a double mastectomy in 2020. So imagine this, your child's claiming they're in the wrong body. Maybe the school therapist, whoever is kind of advocating, just like they did with Elon Musk, like if you're going to lose your child, if you don't affirm this, they take him to a therapist. Medical people sign off on the fact that, yep, if she thinks she's a boy at the age of 14, 15, 16, chop off both breasts, even though they're healthy in tissue. And this will make her feel better. Actually, I'm sorry. It says here that her double mastectomy was done after 2 telehealth sessions. What in the actual?
Oh my.
Our organization's completely, they're saying Gays Against Groomers is completely independent and funded entirely by our supporters. Help us keep fighting this fight. Thank you, Gays Against Groomers, for realizing that this transitioning of young children and people under the age of 18, you can't even get a tattoo under the age of 18 in most states. But
you can't even, as a grown adult female in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, say that you want your tubes tied without having to go through multiple hoops. Or to advocate for a hormone replacement therapy that helps you with perimenopause or menopause period.
Absolutely. You know,
without going through hoops. Okay. This $3.5 million lawsuit that was awarded to her is not enough.
No,
it's not enough. These people need to lose their licenses and they need to go to jail.
Yes.
Prison.
Yes. Your oath says to do no harm. And I just want, if we can all suspend like the show for a second and just think about when you're an adolescent. I mean, think back to when you're 12, 13, 14 years old. Nothing feels right. I mean, even as an adult, sometimes you have days where you're like, I don't know. You just don't feel it. To capitalize on that tender moment in life and say you should make permanent decisions based off of those temporary feelings.
Hold up. How many women feel this way after childbirth?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
My body's not the same. And then you try to snatch back, right? Snap back. That whole like adage that
because that's not enough pressure to put on a woman
from culture after like pushing out a 10-pound baby.
Squeeze something the size of a watermelon over out of something the size of a lemon and then tell her to bounce back.
Right. Like 30 days. You got 30 days or I'm not touching you anymore. Like, I can't believe you let your body go. No, I didn't let my body go. I like grew a human. What do you mean? Literally something you cannot do. So what are you talking about? Like what? I'm sorry.
Well, and if you think about young people,
I promise I won't act like this on the dais.
Yes, you will.
Maybe
we both will. Well, listen, it's truth though. And honestly,
this is crazy.
Ellie, when you think about young people, how they struggle with just their self-esteem, you've got things like anorexia, bulimia. Would you ever think of telling a 14-year-old who is like 90 pounds soaking wet, but thinks that they are obese in their mind? Would you ever think of telling them to get lap band surgery and liposuction? Because you're not going to affirm those delusions. You're not, I mean, that would, right? It's malpractice. This is malpractice.
And again, her millions of dollars in this lawsuit settlement is not enough. These people need to lose their licenses.
I love how
serve time in prison.
I love how you reflected on how you may or may not serve once you're elected to an office that you may or may not ever run for, because I think this is exactly what you need to take with you. We want to see more of this kind of,
No, for sure.
You want to know who's doing it and still doing it? U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro. Take a listen to her as she just dishes a little bit of truth. She pushes back to the media.
Why are grand jurors so skeptical of the cases that your office has been bringing?
Oh, cut it out. Do you know how many convictions we've got? Cut it out. You're in one lane. We have cleaned up this city. Yeah, historic, really? I'll tell you what's historic. What's historic is that I prosecute everything other than 10% of the cases, where the United States attorney before me didn't prosecute 67% of the cases. That's what's historic. I'm willing to take a not guilty. I'm willing to take a no true bill, because I'll take all the crimes and put them in. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the time we have.
I want to be like her. I think we already are, to be honest with you. This is so out of pocket. But this is the reason why they call it out of pocket is, one, she's a female. Yeah. And she's got makeup on, right? I mean, you can see a little bit of her neckline. I mean, oh my gosh, God forbid. She's wearing high heels and lipstick, and she's got highlights in her hair. Lord Jesus, please clutch your pearls. And now she's got something to say, and she's pointing her finger and being stern, talking like that. But if it was Marco Rubio up there, nobody has a problem.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, this is on both sides of the aisle. Literally, the party that can't tell us what a woman is seems to have an issue with women that are very strong like this, and the party that claims they do know what a woman is kind of still wants to put women in their place sometimes. So,
Cálmate. Cógelo con tequilicio, okay? You got the wrong one.
I say, once elected, take that firebrand with you. And you know what? People that get in their feels about it can be in their feels. I'm sure they have medication for that too.
It would be ill-advised to take it at this point with the pharmaceutical companies.
Right? Oh my gosh.
And definitely don't go see a therapist, because good Lord, you might end up with no healthy body parts and come out with a different name that does not match your gender. I'm just saying.
This is why we're unscripted, because you can't plan this stuff. You just can't. Well, ending on another high note, there has been 72 years. I think it could probably go back even further than that, but of ripping off of Americans that, according to this News Nation report, says the Trump administration's ending this 72-year span of ripping us off and not requiring proper identification to get taxpayer incentives. Take a listen.
Into the loan process, you now have to have a birth date. You have to have a citizenship check. That has never existed in the 72-year history.
But that's never existed to get millions of dollars in taxpayer funding?
Right. And it's breathtaking. So you think about that at scale. When you apply that across the entire government, and setting up those checks and balances within the agencies. And I was talking to Dr. Oz last night about this as well. Like, we both see that when you are not getting a response from someone that is potentially fraudulent, go ahead and call in those loans. And what Dr. Oz said, of the 800 home health care services, $1.4 billion that they've withheld, they almost got no complaints for withholding the money. These fraudsters are there. They know they're in the wrong. And so we just have to set up the systems on the front end to make sure that another dollar doesn't go out. And there has to be deterrence. That's why this accountability at the DOJ and the Treasury collections is pivotal.
I'm sorry. What?
Do you remember when the Trump administration first started to take form and he was getting all of his nominees in, and Pete Hegseth said the first thing they did was they sent out emails that said, "Where do you work from? And we need you to come into the office." And people were like, "Oh my God, so upset.
Do this. Why do you want to know?"
This is why you need to know where the Department of Treasury, where are they? Where are they working from? What do you do on a daily basis? We need accountability, because 800 home health companies were taking money that, when it was all cut off, just a small handful said, "Hey, what happened to our money?" Everybody else was crickets.
$22 billion in COVID era fraud. And you don't have to be a citizen. You don't have to prove citizenship in order to gain access to taxpayer loans, taxpayer dollar loans.
This is why it's such a slippery slope when these states give state IDs to illegals. Oh, they don't have driver's license, they're not voting. BS. They have an ID. So possibly that's all they need to get some of these resources. Trump said it on day one. He said, if you peel back the layers of the onion and you take a look at the waste, theft, and fraud, all the abuses going on, you will balance the budget.
I would like to submit for the record. I think if I were to ever, I don't even know if I want to say this.
Say it.
I want someone to put forth a bill
That part.
that would require citizenship notification or proof of citizenship in order to obtain any kind of federal or state
ID.
No.
Funding?
Yeah. Like any kind of assistance. Any kind. A loan, a anything.
I think a lot of that, you're right, Allie, is going to have to be done on the federal level. And this is why, because a lot of those programs are federally run programs, even though the funds are given, like in Medicaid, the funds are given to the state, and the state largely has a way of disseminating that.
Well, your birth certificate isn't just state bound; it's federal. You have to, by the federal government,
your social security number.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if that is like that, then you need to make sure that you are proving that you are a citizen in order for you to access any kind of taxpayer dollar.
Yeah.
In support.
I mean, this is
or program.
What
assistance.
are you doing? Are you even a sovereign nation if you're not proving that? Because here's the thing: you can come here. You can come here legally. You can come here on a visa, a green card, a work permit, and you can get identification. That's not what we're talking about.
No. But this also, and this is where the churches can come in too, right? So if you are not a citizen and you are looking for a pathway to citizenship, then you should be able to do that through an organization,
right?
But with proper assistance, right? Like proper lanes, like going through the proper channels to do that with someone that is an American citizen that understands the ropes of the pathway to citizenship to assist these people that do want to be here legally and assimilate. That can assist, and that is where the church can come in.
Yeah,
But in order for you to obtain any kind of government assistance, you must prove that you are a citizen of this nation.
Absolutely.
And if you are not and still want to attain some kind of assistance, that is where you need to go to a church.
Absolutely. And we're not, this isn't a far stretch, Allie, because just think of what they require our veterans to do to prove any kind of disability or to get any kind of payout or to get any kind of help.
Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. We're literally sitting in the airport. I'm in the airport. I'm traveling, and I'm like, you know what? I think that TSA pre-check should automatically be granted to every veteran, every military member, and every veteran. Why? Because they already have all our information.
Yeah,
they literally have all of our information.
Yes,
down to fingerprints.
You're right, Allie.
Y'all got our DNA. Stop playing with me. Why are we not doing that? Why do I have to pay extra dollars in order to bypass something that I earned?
Yeah.
I earned that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying, Allie. You make things hard for the people that things should be maybe easier for, and you make things easy for people that they should have to go through some processes. This is a great start. This is why it's important that you get out and vote in the 2026 midterms, because we need stronger Republicans and conservatives in both the House and Senate and in your state legislature and on your school board. Don't sleep this one. Don't skip on this one, guys. In a blink of an eye, you could be right back in the Obama, Biden, Harris era.
And honestly, this is why I totally wholeheartedly support Blazing Goglia for CFO, because he literally is doing this at the state level.
Yeah.
Not necessarily requiring citizenship, but that is part of it, right? Like that's where he's going with this, right? Is the legislation, the piece that has been put out is, that this is something that they want, or at least looking at. He's already doing this. People that are defrauding the Floridian people through whatever means they're defrauding them are being put in jail.
And what I liked is she said these processes will be loaded on the front end.
Yes.
That's another thing that CFO Blazing Goglia is doing here in the state of Florida. In this day and age, when I can log in and see my balance or lack thereof in my checking account, you tell me we can't front load some of these. Why are we not using technology to make it work for us and for the taxpayers? Guys, we are all out of time, man.
I know.
Just fire.
Oh my gosh.
But you're not...
I'm so mad.
Tomorrow's Friday, and we're going to be just as unhinged tomorrow as we are today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tune into us Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Till then, we're all out of time. Thank you, Talk Red.
And keep that mic open and stay out of pocket. We love y'all.
Love you.
Two queens, no filter. Say what they feel. Allie and Michelle keep it way too real.